to Good Game. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
Well, Bajo, we've long heard that 2016 was going to be the year of VR, but now it's finally happening.
Yes, yesterday the first major headset officially launched, the Oculus Rift. Although it does seem like we'll be waiting a few months before we actually get it.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow rollout, but we have got our hands on another contender for the VR crown, PlayStation VR, and we give you our first impressions tonight.
He's pretty cool.
Also, we hug it out in UFC2. And one of the best click-em-ups in ages, Grim Dawn.
I look like a king.
Have you met Old Mate Tree Dude?
I have. Are you going to give him a better name than
Old Mate Tree Dude is the name he wants to be called.
Did you just kill your previous Tree Dude for a new
Yeah,
Tree
this
Dude?
is Old Mate Tree Dude the second.
NichBoy's been spending some quality time in Bravely Second, so we've got that too. But before all that, can you name the game for this week?
All right, it's time for some biffo with UFC 2.
So far, Robbie. Look at that sprawl by Lawler. Oh! Again with the head. Oh!
Yes, this is EA's second go-around with the Ultimate Fighting Championship license, the world's most popular brand of mixed martial arts fighting.
And like most of EA Sports titles, this is an iteration on the previous game with a few new features and tweaks to the gameplay.
Yeah, one thing I thought was a little disappointing though was that the career mode kind of feels like an afterthought. It's tucked all the way to the side in the main menu, and then when you get to it, it's pretty bare bones.
Yes, after you create your fighter, you're put in a basic reality TV show competition to become the next great UFC fighter. But outside of the intro, there isn't really any narrative or story to go along with it, which is a shame. You pretty much just do a few training mini-games, and then a fight, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I feel like we expect a bit more from sports games after we've seen how they shine when developers go to the trouble to add in a story like they did with the latest NBA 2K, or even the latest Fight Night. It just makes the campaigns feel so much more rewarding and interesting, rather than like you're just improving a spreadsheet. But at least you can create a female fighter now.
And it's a great character creator too. Oh, Hex, I had a lot of fun with these sliders. Prepare yourself. Are you ready? Meet Bajo Big Wang.
Oh.
Here he is, the beautiful man. So majestic.
Yes, horrifying as always, Bajo.
You're welcome.
And I know I always go on about hair and character creation scenes, but there is a seriously terrible selection of hair choices for girls. It's pretty much just pigtails or cornrows and that's it. Is it too much to want to fight in style?
Hex, you don't have to tell me how important it is to look good when you're fighting. Yes, well, outside of the campaign, they've brought in the ever-popular Ultimate Team mode. This is where you create a team of fighters, take them online or fight AI, and earn coins to buy packs of cards, which unlock new moves and give various buffs to your fighters.
Yeah, I wasn't really sold on that mode, to be honest. I just don't see the appeal of having to unlock different punches and moves in random packs of cards. I mean, to me, it feels like a vehicle for them to put microtransactions in the game somewhere. Maybe I'm missing something?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a fair assessment. In terms of changes to the fighting mechanics, the biggest one I noticed is the new grapple assist, which tells you how to move the right stick in order to pull off certain grapple transitions. It's certainly helpful, but I'm still not much of a fan of the grappling. Just something about pushing a stick in a direction for a few seconds, it doesn't feel very skillful or satisfying.
Well, there is the new knockout mode, which eliminates the ground game and essentially turns it into a more traditional fighter. Out goes the stamina bar and hidden health system, and in comes a simple health meter where it's all about just punching and kicking your opponent until their health is gone.
It's a good mode, I think, especially because I find UFC such a daunting game. There's just so much going on between all the different fight styles available and ground and standing games. There's a lot to get your head around, so I appreciated the stripped-back nature of knockout mode.
Yeah, it does take a while to gel with the pacing and controls, doesn't it? You know, it was pretty terrible for my first few matches, but once I got my blocks and timing down, I had a few impressive first-round TKOs. It's all about just getting them on the ground and then getting that ground and pound going on. Ah, but that moment you see their body go all limp, but you have to keep punching them until the ref calls it. Ugh. That's tough to watch, man.
Yeah, it really does capture the brutality of the sport at times. I found myself wincing when some of those blows connected and blood and sweat starts to fly. But at the same time, it can look pretty ridiculous too, with some wonky hit detection and animations.
Well, to be fair, I think Bajo Big Wang would make even the best animated fights look ridiculous. We should wrap this up though. Final thoughts?
Well, I don't consider myself a UFC expert, but I think this is a solid fighter, technically. I think fans will be happy, even though it does lack a bit of soul. So I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Yeah, I just don't think it was a big enough improvement on the last game to really justify itself. I mean, it's a pretty decent but uninspiring offering, if you ask me. So I'm going to give it 2.5.
Check it out here. Boom! And that's all she wrote.
Is that what you Whoa! Oh! Big football!
In the corner, very... Oh my god! Oh my god!
Well, we've just had a session with PlayStation VR. This is the pre-retail version, so it's a prototype. It's not the very final version, but it is very close. Goose, thank you for joining us. What was your first impression?
I think I've got the same impression that we all have, which is it was one of the most realistic ones so far. Yeah. Oh, we can John Woo it! And I think incorporating some movement with your hands to actually play with it rather than just your head movement really knocked it up a notch. And I forgot I was in the office, so that was fantastic.
We played that game very differently, you and I. Find a station. Oh, I turn it. Yeah, of course. Oh, wow, of course I can turn it. Yeah. Here, look at my fingers. Blah, blah, blah. Not now. I'm busy. Hey, mate. Go round. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy, just relax. Mate, we'll get through it. Just relax. We'll get through it. Just relax.
I just feel like this wasn't the way this game was meant to be played.
No.
Go around!
Once you're sort of immersed in that bubble, suddenly you are in this blacked out cinema, which is strange at first, but you very quickly slip into it.
And it has kind of evolved a lot since we first tried these early dev kits. It feels a lot less claustrophobic now. The full 360 experience is kind of amazing. I was in the Into the Deep demo where I was in the tank with the shark, and I felt really like I was under the ocean, the expanse of the ocean, and I could see quite far into the distance, and I wanted to touch things. That's the strangest experience, I think, is that you want to touch things. What does that mean?
That's me.
That's your air. You're running out of air.
What?
You're dying.
What?
Watching your reactions was actually quite incredible because they were real. Like you were really scared. And you were really reacting to things that were happening.
What you see on when you're watching it passively on the TV, it's a lot smaller.
It's like a cage from a movie. Where the villain...
But when the shark is right up there in your face, like it's huge. It's like a massive, full-scale shark, like that would eat you, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
You'd think that. I think the headset too also feels really good on. It doesn't feel like it's intrusive in any way. You forget you're wearing it.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I would say, one of the most ergonomically designed. Even just looking at it does feel like something from a sci-fi movie. Which
You're very Daft Punk.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I want that. I don't want to look, everyone's been concerned getting into VR thinking, how am I going to look with this thing on my head? I'm not saying this is going to make you look...
They've made it look as cool as you possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I felt like with a lot of the other ones, there were a lot of cables and stuff everywhere, and there is still a cable on this one, but it didn't feel as messy as some of the other VR units that I've used. But the biggest thing for me was firstly, magical. It just feels magic being in VR that isn't grainy, I remember the first iteration of the Oculus was still a bit lower res.
It's kind of like looking through a fly screen door, wasn't
that
it?
took me out of it a bit, but this was a lot smoother and a lot crisper. I didn't find that distracting. So that was the first step that it's got over, which was a big thing. Second step, I didn't throw up, which is an issue with every other VR thing I've used so far.
Yeah.
And thirdly, in especially that car chase heist game, I'm clicking things and I'm picking them up and I'm having more fun with just the objects in the real world than all that stuff's great, right?
Yeah,
but
I feel like that's novelty that you'll get over though.
I know, but it's incredible is my point, right? It just playing with something in a virtual space, that just feels so incredible.
I think for you as well, the motion sickness that you used to get was more tied to games where the game was moving for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas all of these games where you're seated, you're in a cockpit situation, or you're not really moving much. I'm curious to see what kinds of games will be coming out developing around that idea, because it is quite limiting when you think about it in terms of games. I feel like we're going to go back to kind of Time Crisis-y on rails days where everything's going to be
From what I played, I'm okay with that for now.
That's fine.
When am I going to get tired of that?
As long as I can play with the air conditioning, it's fine. Actually, what I really liked was I wanted to interact with the guy. So I'm curious to see what devs do with other characters in a game with VR.
Right, how they
you know?
react to you. Because he would
Yeah.
he would react when you like move the gun, you know, near his face and stuff like that.
And that for me, that's another connection. Like the real world objects thing, that's another person, and I'm in that virtual space with that person. So when they're reacting to things I'm doing, that's like another kind of magic moment in my brain clicking off.
Well, I think cockpit-based games like space dogfight shooters are what I'm really looking forward to, because I think the expansiveness of space. There was one demo that we saw in that really early version of the Oculus that took us around planets and things like that, and that was really, for me, that was really magical. Going up into space is something that I think we've all dreamed of, and if we could make that a reality in virtual reality, that would be amazing.
I'm curious how it was for you with your glasses.
I actually thought it was fine. It's sort of the way it can, once it goes on your head, you do have that adjustment before the lens clicks into your face. So I found it very comfortable.
I feel like it is important to see your body realized in the game too, isn't it? You know, in the
nice to see that.
in Into the Deep, I had no body, and so when I looked down, it was suddenly it sort of pulled me out of the moment a bit, because it was like I had no legs.
We'll have a full
and I
suit
was
with the
I
next
was
one.
floating. Yeah.
Versus Bajo and I had hands.
But floating hands.
But it was amazing how quickly we, once we got those triggers working with the move controllers to make our hands grasp, it just, you were like, great, I've got
connected
hands.
to it.
You
Yeah.
didn't think this is a strange, different movement. It's like, no, these are how my hands work in this game, and already I was just giving myself into it.
It just opens up, I suppose, a can of worms, because then you need to be able to do character customization and stuff like that if you want to make it feel like you, or like male and female characters, because it would be quite disconcerting for me to look down and see a male's body.
Vice versa as well, I think. Actually. Yeah, you're right.
Do your best to pass this simple challenge.
You got it, speaker guy.
Bringing it back to, I think a lot of people have been really enjoying mundane experiences with these, and even you just playing that soccer game and headbutting a soccer ball, you think, what would be fun about that? But you were having a really interesting time with that.
And think about like when we are eventually able to take this multiplayer.
Yes, oh yes, the possibilities.
Possibilities.
Well, I think it's safe to say we're all a bit giggly and excited about it. It's officially out in October, and of course we'll do a full review of the launch titles then and see how it stacks up. But now here's NichBoy with the first play.
Thanks, guys. Now, Bravely Second is the second game in the Bravely series, funnily enough. It's a sequel to Bravely Default, which came out in Australia in 2013. And the story was pretty stock standard JRPG stuff till about 60 hours in, and then it took some real turns. There was a real twist there that I did not see coming, so I kind of had some high hopes for Bravely Second. We're going to start about half an hour in. Now, to give you some context as to what we're going to be seeing, you play as a character called Yu, who is the head of the Three Cavaliers, which is kind of like a Knight's Guard, except they look after the Pope. And the Pope's name is Pope Agnes. She's like 16 years old, which is pretty young for a Pope, and pretty female for a Pope as well. Now, Pope Agnes has been kidnapped by the evil Kaiser Oblivion, who I feel like didn't really have a choice to be anything other than evil with a name like Kaiser Oblivion. So let's dive in and save that young girly Pope. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of standard JRPG stuff here. Everyone's a child, for one. We seem to be walking around as a party where several people are inside this child, but they only pop out when they get attacked. So that's weird. We are right now in Pilgrim's Grove. Alright, so these are the three people who popped out of the kid that I was talking about. So ugly.
The blazing wolf, and what he said.
The first game actually had some good lines in it. Like some funny lines. And then there's Nikolai.
Nikolanikov stands before you. We are the Crystal Guard's Three Cavaliers.
Oh, are you trying to bore the troll to death? Okay, so this is one of the things that makes Bravely Default a really interesting game series. Basically, if you default, then you go into a defensive pose and your defense goes up, but also you kind of save a turn, or you can brave up to 4 times and use 4 turns in 1 turn, but then for the next 3, you're not going to be able to do anything. So let's jump in and see how it works with old ugly troll. Everyone just attack. Just attack the troll. Well, that sucked. Oh, that really sucked. Oh, this sucks. Okay. We're gonna need to reevaluate that strategy. No, we're not, because he's dead. Excellent work, team. Excellent work. You can maybe take a step back because you were pretty useless, but Nikolai really carried us to victory there. I really love the art style in the game. It has a real painterly sort of look and a lot of depth to these screens. There's a bunch of knights here. This is either going to be really good for me or really bad.
Who goes? The three cavaliers?
It's just always children talking to each other.
You'd come to our aid?
Oh no! Someone's dead!
Yeah, take a look. Not a scratch on me.
Well, this is suspicious.
I killed them. Me. To the last man.
No, we got that bit. We want to know why.
But why?
There we go.
Janon Guard of the Crystal Guard's 3 Cavaliers fights for the Empire now.
J'accuse! Are we gonna fight?
I have no choice now but to kill you. Huh? What have you...
Flee, you!
Wait, what?
Polonius. But where?
I'm right here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. He found a little crystal of the Pope's. He wore it around his neck, like part of her pendant.
Your bravery is admirable. But if you lay down your life here, all will be lost.
Good point. She is dressing racy for a Pope. The plot thickens. Let's leave it there. So that was a very small slice of a very big game, but what we have seen in the short amount of time is a focus on story and a focus on combat. Narratively, it's packing a lot of plot here in the beginning. The first game managed to build a very interesting story, but at the same time flesh out the characters and world around it to make something that was sort of more than the sum of its parts. If this game can manage to do the same thing, then I would say it's worth playing on that alone. But then on top of that, you add the combat system, which is really interesting and deep, and that brave and default mechanic. Seeing how that will have developed over a second game, what they've learned from the first one and how that gets fleshed out, then I feel like those two things together could make for a really special experience. So that was my first play of Bravely Second End Layer. Will there be a second play? Yes, for probably another 80 hours. Think about how many people can betray me in that amount of time.
Oh, this is gonna be tough.
Whoa, this guy's super fast. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Level 25, Boris, Master of the Pit.
Boris of the pit.
Oh, I don't know if I can take him. Oh, I'm having trouble.
We can. He's more than halfway.
Having trouble keeping up the health.
Good job. Yes.
We are now of the pit.
Good job.
Grim Dawn is set in the war-torn world of Cairn, where what's left of the human race are caught in a conflict between two otherworldly entities.
After messing with the power of portals, you become possessed.
What are you? Others of your kind name us ethereal.
But once the ethereal being is driven from your body, you discover you hold the key to interdimensional travel.
So you set out to tame this demon-filled world,
Zombies in the ground.
trying as best you can to create a foothold for the rapidly dwindling human race.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear my swarm.
Well, first of all, this game looks pretty great, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that cartoony Blizzard style of click RPG, but there's something dark and gritty about this that's just so wonderful. I love how corrupted and gross everything is, especially all the maggots and worms.
Oh, it does dots. I got swarm dots. Oh, eat the dots.
Yeah, I prefer this art style personally. It's more subtle, but just gorgeous.
Look at the leaves floating down from the trees. Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
When you begin this game, your only choices are between a male or female human. You don't actually choose your class until you've been playing for a while and killed a few nasties.
Yeah, and this threw me at first, but then I suppose it is kind of nice to get a feel for the world and the kinds of enemies you'll be fighting before you commit to the way in which you'll be fighting them.
I went with the shaman, but with a focus on two-handed weapons. And I just love that chain lightning hex, the way it just pops everyone around the screen. Glorious.
I rolled Arcanist because for me, when it comes to these games, I am 100% visual satisfaction.
Do you want some meteors?
I want cool spells and lots of colors and things raining down out of the sky. And this gave me that, which made me happy.
It's quite a complicated skill system though, isn't it?
Yeah, but once you spend a bit of time with it, you'll realize just how much it allows you to personalize your character.
Damn you.
Playing a magic user, I could afford to be quite squishy. I use a ranged weapon and have some decent AoE spells in case enemies get too close.
Oh, he is the tough guy.
But then I always just end up getting impatient and I get right into the action anyway.
Buggy.
That skill's not right.
So I appreciated being able to really tailor my character to my reckless playstyle.
I found the ability trees so interesting. It has this bar down the bottom which you need to fill to unlock the abilities along the horizontal plane. But you do this with the same points you spend on the abilities themselves. So you have a choice to keep those early abilities, put lots of points into them and make them really powerful, or fill out that bottom bar and spread everything out and have a wider range of spells and abilities.
Yes, but naturally the more powerful the ability, the more energy it'll take to use it.
That skill's not ready.
There's trade-offs everywhere, but it's beautifully balanced. I just love this system. It adds such a wonderful stress to level up moments.
Added to that is an additional constellation map which offers even more combinations of stat boosts depending on which ones you choose. But Hex, even at level 20, I wasn't quite sure on how all of that works.
Yeah, me either.
I still don't understand why all these other things are locked.
It looks like you can fill out the bottom one in some of them. They don't necessarily need to be connected, maybe? Or do they need to be connected?
And to complicate things even further, you eventually unlock the ability to start putting points into a second class tree. Ugh. I mean, that really stressed me out.
Oh yeah, it's totally stressful, especially as that second class has its own horizontal bar as well, and that can't be respec'd. I just worry, Hex, that I'm not putting all my points in the right places.
Oh, the anxiety is real.
Oh, absolutely. And I just love all this stat stuff, though. I love going back and respecking all these points and moving stuff around and trying things out. It's got to be right.
Yeah, plus for people like me who can't decide if they want to play from a distance or get up close, it does offer a wonderfully customized way to play. Then again, you can just ignore it if you want. Well, let's talk about the monsters, because there were a lot of them, everywhere, all the time.
Okay, well, have a this way.
Hello! Oh, hello!
I love how they lull you into a false sense of security with the little baby ones.
Yeah, these games thrive on a healthy serving of monsters and loot, and Grim Dawn dishes up generously. There are so many enemies on screen at once, it's chaos.
Ghost party over here. I can't even see myself. What is going on?
And they made such good use of the maps as well. It's really dense, but it never feels grindy.
Yeah, I mean, you are mowing through enemies, but that screen clearing action is part of what makes these games so addictive, I think.
Sure, which one is accurate?
Well, that and the loot.
It delivers well on the loot, doesn't it?
Oh, the loot!
And he's dead. Do you use axes perchance?
I do anything
serious
two-handed.
Yeah, I have a serious two-handed axe.
Chuck it on.
I have my first blue item. It's a Stormcaller circlet, and it's beautiful.
Excellent. I've got blue shoes.
Yes, but I almost wish it didn't, because then you wouldn't spend so much time stuffing around in your inventory.
We head up north.
Gotta see if I should...
Roger. Get out of your inventory.
I'm not sure if I
This
want to
way.
wear these gloves or...
This way.
Oh, I can equip some new spolders, Hex! Oh, look at my fire!
No.
Look at my fire spolders! Oh.
I don't care. I've left. I've gone.
Come look at them!
I'm leaving
Come
without
look
you.
At the fire spolders!
I'm in crumbling one. There's skellies. I'm
Have a
fighting
good time.
them.
I'm gonna just admire.
Just saving the world on my own.
Let's get some stuff on them. Oh.
Inventory management is serious business, Hex.
Places to go, monsters to kill. Come on. There are plenty of winding caves and dungeons too, mystery doors, no idea what's on the other side.
Hanafi mine. Do you want to do it?
Yes.
I just love that occasional troll where you're suddenly thrown into a pit of enemies without warning.
The questing is done well too. You actually have to listen and read where to go.
This key'll open the cellar in the shack behind me, right by that accursed rift gate.
I love that it just gives you the general area, but not the exact location. So that encourages exploration and the massacre that follows.
Yeah, it is quite easy to begin with though, isn't it? You'll plow through the first few levels so that you don't spend too much time without cool abilities to use, which is good. But then I don't think either of us died until like level 17 or something.
Yeah, and that's a bit crazy. I think they're just trying to ease you in, you know, so you can figure everything out and not worry too much about having to get back to your corpse and get that XP that you lost when you died. But still, it's just way too easy in the early game.
Yeah, thankfully it does ramp up as things progress. I found once I mended that bridge to the left side of the map, I was suddenly in a world of pain.
There's just so much to explore in this world. I love just going out there and wandering. It is very easy to get sidetracked and lost though, and this is largely due to the clever way they've designed the world, with roads being blocked and paths funneling you off in different directions.
Paths that always guide you to more monsters.
I love the little choice consequence moments with NPCs.
Oh, hey buddy.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't do the talking though, why does every NPC interaction always end in murder with you?
I killed him.
What did you
we
do?
had a choice consequence, and he sounded evil, so I took care of business.
What do you mean he sounded evil?
He was in a prison, and I didn't read it all, but I didn't have a good vibe about him.
I'm pretty sure they were bad guys.
No, if you'd let me have the conversation, we would have all just hugged it out at the end. You are the actual worst.
I've been trying to play this pretty straight, as per usual.
Well, maybe...
And if people are going to think I'm a merciless killer...
Maybe he deserved it. Maybe that's the message you want to send.
What do you mean, maybe?
I didn't read the quiz!
Moving through the map, I found the pathfinding to be quite good, but the environment transparency wasn't always great. I mean, that's something that other games in this genre have really excelled at, but here I often found my vision was obscured.
You just gotta move the camera.
I don't want to deal with camera angles in a game like this. You shouldn't have to touch it.
Oh, it's so hard. You just gotta press one button to move the camera. It's so easy. I must say, it is a lot easier and more natural when you've got a controller plugged in, moving the camera with the right stick, but the controller support was only about 80% there, which was disappointing.
No one cares about controller support.
I'm a total controller convert. I am a total convert now for these kinds of games. After Diablo 3 on console, amazing. I think there's a lot of people out there who love controllers for these kinds of games.
It's you and a population of like 3 other people. Maybe 4.
Get on board. I enjoyed playing this on my own as much as I did playing in co-op, and it does actually support 4-player co-op, which is great. Although I did find some of the quests seemed to only work in single player and some worked in co-op well, and it just wasn't clear enough, and that found like a bug to me. Also, we did have an issue with lag whenever I turned up the amount of bodies that would appear on screen and stay there, and that was strange too, but most of the time it was lag-free. But yeah, we had a great time smashing monsters together.
Yeah, it taps into all those wonderful vices we have when it comes to these kinds of games. It's detailed, it's complicated, and yet somehow I feel like it has the ability to remain accessible because it's got such a slow difficulty curve. And you don't have to make your character that complex if you don't want to.
I do think people who are new to this kind of game will struggle with that tech tree though. This is one for established fans of the genre.
Look at these pants!
Oh, poison.
But I was so impressed with Grim Dawn Hex. The freedom you have to explore and discover the mechanics of the game. You couldn't ask for a better debut from a new dev studio, so I'm giving it 4 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I'm giving it 4 stars as well.
Yeah, nice.
So I have a feeling this cave is going to be very bee heavy.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a hornet's nest, as it were.
I like the ground. It's very alien. Bees! You were right. Be careful. Be careful. Your pun was better.
All right, Goose, here's the deal. Bajo is trapped inside the TV. It was caused by the glitch and I have to go in and save him.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Oh, I just need you to change channels on this remote until we come across the one that he's on.
Wasn't I a small-time sheriff?
Ugh. Goose, we don't have time for this. Let's do this.
Well, can I name the game for this week?
Already done that. It was Rapid Racer on the PlayStation 1. One of the first games to use the DualShock controller's analog sticks for steering, this motorboat racer had you powering through the water at a liquid 60 frames per second, which was pretty impressive for 1997. And it was our Name the Game because it was developed by Sony London, the same dev studio behind this week's PlayStation VR demos.
Next week on the show, we split reality with Quantum Break. Plus Souls, Dark Souls 3.
Mentally prepared to go down the Dark Souls rabbit hole again, Bajo?
Yes, I am, Hex, and this time you're coming with me.
No!
Don't forget, you can also catch Good Game Pocket each weekday online, and for the younger gamers, Spawn Point on the weekend. And this week, we go for gold in Trackmania Turbo.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Alright, if I'm gonna play Dark Souls, I feel like I need to rage quit proof my house.
Right.
I have a lot of breakables, so if I'm gonna be throwing things, and I will throw things,
Clear
I need
space.
to not, be breaking property.
Why don't I bake a Dark Souls cake And every time you beat a boss, I give you a piece.
Ooh, cake!
And every time you die, I eat a piece.
I respond well to food rewards, so it's a good idea. Good plan.